Unleashing your inner power, the revolutionary path to authentic success. Welcome, brave souls and seekers of truth. Today, we embark on a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about power, success, and most importantly, yourself. I'm here to share some earth-shattering insights I gained from a recent conversation with the remarkable April Mixon, a woman who's not just making waves, but creating tsunamis of positive change in our world. April Mixon isn't just a successful entrepreneur or a motivational speaker. She's a force of nature, a beacon of hope in a world that often feels shrouded in darkness. Her words have the power to ignite souls, to awaken dormant potential, and to transform lives. And today I'm going to share with you the wisdom she imparted to me. Wisdom that has the potential to revolutionize not just your life, but the very fabric of our society. Now, I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror. What do you see? Do you see your flaws, your imperfections, the parts of yourself you wish you could change? Or do you see a force of nature, a being of unlimited potential, just waiting to be unleashed on the world? Open your eyes. The truth is, most of us see the former. We've been conditioned by society to focus on our shortcomings, to constantly strive for an impossible ideal of perfection. But what if I told you that this perspective is not just wrong, but actively harmful? What if I told you that the very things you're trying to change about yourself are actually the source of your greatest power? This is where April's wisdom hit me like a lightning bolt. She said, your power is not something to be earned, negotiated, or bestowed. It resides within you, waiting to be acknowledged and unleashed. Let that sink in for a moment. Your power, it's already there. It's not something you need to go out and find. It's not something someone else can give you. It's right there inside you, just waiting for you to recognize it. But here's the kicker, folks. We live in a world that's constantly trying to define us, to put us in neat little boxes with labels. Society tells us what we should be, how we should act, what we should aspire to. It's like we're all characters in someone else's story. But April, she sees it differently. And after talking with her, I see it differently too. You are the author of your own story. You hold the pen. And those pages, they're blank, just waiting for your unique and vibrant expression. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, Lane, and that sounds great and all, but you don't know my story. You don't know my struggles. And you're right, I don't. But what I do know is this: those struggles, those challenges, those moments that have brought you to your knees, they're not your weakness, they're your strength. April shared a powerful truth with me, and I'm going to share it with you now. She said, embrace your imperfections. They are your superpowers. Now, doesn't that just flip everything on its head? We spend so much time and energy trying to fix ourselves, trying to smooth out our rough edges, trying to fit into some mold of perfection that doesn't even exist. But what if, just what if those very things we're trying to change are the source of our greatest power? Think about it. That scar you're trying to hide, it's proof of your resilience. That quirk you're embarrassed about, it's what makes you unforgettable. That failure you're ashamed of is the foundation of your future success. You see, perfection isn't the goal. Perfection is boring. Perfection is stagnant. But you're a work in progress, always growing, always evolving. And that's where the magic happens. Now, I can almost hear that little voice in your head. You know the one I'm talking about, the one that's saying, yeah, but that voice that whispers doubts and fears, that tells you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not whatever enough. Well, let me tell you something about that voice. It's a liar. It's not your true voice. It's the echo of societal expectations, the residue of past experiences. It's the voice of every person who ever told you that you couldn't, that you shouldn't, that you wouldn't. But here's the thing: you don't have to listen to it. You can acknowledge it, thank it for its concern, and then gently but firmly tell it to hush up, because you got a new voice to listen to, the voice of your inner champion. This is the voice that reminds you of your strengths, your accomplishments, your boundless potential. It's the voice that says, yes, you can. It's the voice that believes in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. And let me tell you, cultivating that voice, it's a game changer. It's like having your own personal cheerleader, motivational speaker, and life coach all rolled into one. And the best part, it's available 24/7
absolutely free. But here's where it gets really interesting, folks. Your voice, it matters. Your experiences, your perspectives, your ideas, they're all valuable. They're all worthy of being heard. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what do I have to say? Who would want to listen to me? And to that, I say everyone. Everyone needs to hear your voice because your story, your perspective, your truth, it's unique. There's no one else in this world who can tell it like you can. So don't shrink back. Don't hold back. Don't silence yourself for fear of judgment or rejection. Speak your truth, even when your voice shakes, even when your words feel uncertain, because your authenticity, that's your power. We often think of power as something external. We think it's about having the corner office, the fancy title, the big bank account, but that's not real power. Real power comes from within. It comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you're capable of. And let me tell you, you are capable of so much more than you can even imagine. You have strengths you haven't even tapped into yet, potential you haven't even begun to explore. But here's the catch: you got to believe it. You got to believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect anyone else to? Now, I know that's easier said than done. Belief in yourself isn't something that just happens overnight. It's something you have to cultivate, something you have to nurture. It's a muscle you have to exercise every single day. And sometimes that exercise is going to be tough. There are going to be days when you look in the mirror and all you see are your flaws. There are going to be times when you feel like giving up, when the world seems stacked against you. But those are the moments when you need to dig deep. Those are the moments when you need to remind yourself of your power, of your worth, of your potential. Because here's the truth: the world needs you. The world needs your voice, your ideas, your passion. The world needs your unique gifts, your special brand of magic. And you know what? The world isn't always going to make it easy for you. There are going to be obstacles, there are going to be setbacks, there are going to be people who try to dim your light. But here's what April taught me, and what I want you to remember: you are not defined by what happens to you, you are defined by how you respond to it. So when life knocks you down, you get back up. When someone tells you you can't, you say, "Watch me." When the path ahead seems impossible, you take it one step at a time because you are stronger than you know. You are more resilient than you believe. You are capable of achieving things beyond your wildest dreams. But it all starts with you. It all starts with believing in yourself, with acknowledging your power, with embracing your authenticity. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, and that sounds great, but how do I actually do that? How do I start believing in myself? Well, let me tell you, it's a journey. And like any journey, it starts with a single step. So here's what I want you to do: I want you to make a promise to yourself right now. Promise that you're going to start treating yourself with kindness and respect. Promise that you're going to start acknowledging your strengths and celebrating your victories, no matter how small they might seem. Promise that you're going to start speaking to yourself the way you speak to your best friend. Would you tell your best friend that they're not good enough, that they can't achieve their dreams? Of course not. So why would you say those things to yourself? And here's another thing: surround yourself with people who believe in you, people who lift you up, who inspire you, who push you to be your best self. Because the people you surround yourself with, they have a huge impact on how you see yourself and what you believe you're capable of. But don't just surround yourself with these people. Be that person for others. Create a community where people support each other, celebrate each other's successes, and offer a hand when needed. Because when we lift each other up, we all rise. Now, believing in yourself is the first step, but it's not the only step. You got to take action. You got to put yourself out there. You got to be willing to take risks, to make mistakes, to fail. Because here's the thing about failure: it's not the opposite of success, it's a part of success. Every successful person you admire, they failed, probably more times than you can count, but they didn't let those failures define them. They learned from them, they grew from them, and they kept going. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel 100% ready. Because let me tell you a secret: that moment, it doesn't exist. There's never going to be a perfect time. There's never going to be a moment when you feel completely ready. So start now. Start where you are. Start with what you have. Take that first step, no matter how small it might seem. Because every journey, no matter how long, begins with a single step. And here's the beautiful thing: every action you take, every step forward, no matter how small, reinforces your belief in yourself. It shows you what you're capable of. It builds your confidence. And before you know it, you're not just taking steps, you're running, you're flying. Now, let me share with you a story that April told me. It's about a woman named Sarah. Sarah was a single mother, working two jobs just to make ends meet. She had dreams of starting her own business, but every time she thought about it, that little voice in her head would say, "Who do you think you are? You're not smart enough, not experienced enough, not good enough." For years, Sarah listened to that voice. She stayed in her comfort zone, even though it wasn't really comfortable at all. It was just familiar. But then one day, something changed. Sarah looked at her daughter and realized that she was teaching her through her actions to play small, to not dream big, to not believe in herself. And in that moment, Sarah made a decision. She decided to stop listening to that negative voice and start listening to her inner champion instead. She started small. She took an online course in business management. She started saving a little bit of money each month. She began networking, reaching out to people in the industry she wanted to enter. It wasn't easy. There were times when she wanted to give up, times when that old voice of doubt would creep back in. But every time it did, Sarah would remind herself of why she started. She would look at her daughter and say to herself, "I'm doing this for her. I'm showing her what's possible when you believe in yourself." And you know what? Slowly but surely, things started to change. Sarah's confidence grew, her skills improved. And after 2 years of hard work and perseverance, she launched her own business. Today, that business is thriving. Sarah is not just supporting herself and her daughter, she's creating jobs for others in her community. But the most important change, it's in how Sarah sees herself. She no longer doubts her abilities. She no longer plays small. She knows her worth, and she's not afraid to claim it. That's the power of believing in yourself. That's the power of acknowledging your inner strength and letting it shine. Now, I want to share another story with you. This one is about a man named Michael. Michael had a successful career in finance. From the outside, he had it all: the big salary, the corner office, the fancy car. But inside, he felt empty. He felt like he was living someone else's life, chasing someone else's definition of success. For years, Michael ignored these feelings. He told himself he should be grateful for what he had. But the dissatisfaction grew until it became impossible to ignore. That's when Michael did something that many people thought was crazy. He quit his job. He had no plan, no safety net. All he knew was that he couldn't continue living a life that felt inauthentic. For months, Michael struggled. He questioned his decision. He wondered if he'd made a terrible mistake, but he also started to rediscover parts of himself that he'd long ignored. He remembered his passion for teaching, something he'd abandoned years ago in pursuit of a practical career. He started volunteering at a local community center, teaching financial literacy to underprivileged youth. And something amazing happened. For the first time in years, Michael felt alive. He felt like he was making a real difference. Today, Michael runs a nonprofit organization that provides financial education to communities that need it most. He doesn't make as much money as he used to, but he's happier and more fulfilled than he's ever been because he's living his truth. He's using his unique gifts to make the world a better place. These stories, Sarah's and Michael's, they're not unique. They're happening all around us every day. People are waking up to their inner power, embracing their authentic selves, and changing their lives and the world in the process. And here's the thing, you can do it too. You have that same power within you. You have gifts, talents, perspectives that are uniquely yours. The world needs what only you can offer. So I challenge you. I challenge you to look in the mirror and see not just your reflection, but your potential. I challenge you to silence that inner critic and amplify your inner champion. I challenge you to speak your truth, to pursue your passions, to live your purpose. Because when you do that, when you fully step into your power, when you embrace your authentic self, when you believe in your own worth and potential, that's when you change not just your own life, but the lives of those around you. That's when you make a real difference in the world. And let me tell you, the world needs that. The world needs you, your full, authentic, powerful self. So here's my call to action for you. Start today. Start now. Take one small step towards embracing your authentic self. It could be as simple as writing down 3 things you love about yourself, or reaching out to someone you admire, or saying no to something that doesn't align with your values. Whatever it is, do it with intention. Do it with the knowledge that you are worthy, you are powerful, and you have something unique to offer the world. And remember, this journey isn't always going to be easy. There will be setbacks, there will be moments of doubt. But in those moments, I want you to remember this. You are capable of far more than you can imagine. You are strong. You are resilient. You are worthy. Your power is not something to be earned or given. It's already within you. It's been there all along, just waiting for you to recognize it, to embrace it, to unleash it. So go out there, believe in yourself, unleash your power, create the life you were meant to live because you are capable of amazing things. You are worthy of amazing things, and the world is waiting for the amazing things only you can bring. The time for playing small is over. The time for doubting yourself is done. The time for unleashing your true power is now. Are you ready? The world is waiting. Let's make it happen. Thank you.